So, Rebekah, I got 3 questions for you, and I think that these are all going to be very practical and helpful to everybody here. Do you guys all hear me? It's a little quiet. But... All right. So, first of all, logistically speaking, how did you start? Let's be kind. You said you brought pizza, but then what?
Yeah, so logistically, we had sponsors our first year that were like, hey, we're going to buy the pizza for you. And then we had a friend that prints t-shirts say, okay, we're going to print all the t-shirts for you. As we've grown, that's looked different because we have thousands of t-shirts to be printed. So we actually have one of the biggest printing companies, I forget their name, but they print out the t-shirts for us and then they deliver them. And really what we do is, my job is I work with the schools and the principals and the ASBs and all that to figure out what Let's Be Kind is going to look like for that specific school. Let's Be Kind Day isn't necessarily, okay, we're going to pass out t-shirts during lunch, or we're going to do a DJ and pizza and all that. For elementary, that looks different. They actually have a Let's Be Kind week. And so logistically it looks different for everyone, but main thing is we have a big sponsor that sponsors our t-shirts. Costco actually has sponsored us and given us pizzas for all of our schools, and it's a lot of work with PTA and ASB, just figuring out what's going to be the most fun for the students, because really what we're trying to do is we're kind of wanting to have a party to celebrate kindness and know that it's cool to be kind to one another, which I think a lot of the times, especially right now in high school, it's cool to be mean to each other. So just celebrating kindness and what that looks like in your everyday life.
Yeah, and you're only in Costa Mesa right now, right?
Kind of. We have a few schools outside of Costa Mesa, but we're mainly in the Newport Mesa Unified School District.
Okay. Well, we would love for you to come to Brea or to whatever school you guys are at. So maybe there's a way that maybe after service, if you guys want to bring Let's Be Kind to your school, talk to her, get her phone number. And I think that we can bring Let's Be Kind to Brea. We can bring it to Esperanza. You guys just played them. But we can be kind to them. How about that? But anyway, your school, we would love for this sort of thing to be brought to your school, maybe even this thing. So the next question I have for you is more to our individual lives. What do you do when you are really struggling with being kind to someone?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times people just assume that I am constantly kind because I am the Let's Be Kind girl, but that is far from the truth. We all, I think, struggle with being kind to one another, and I think a lot of the times what helps me is remembering, and it's kind of cliche, but what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this moment? He definitely wouldn't, yell at them, say bad, mean things to them. And actually with our t-shirt, what we found is that it keeps you accountable for being kind to someone when you're wearing it. Because when you're wearing it, you're not going to go and be rude to someone. And I think just taking a step back and thinking about, okay, is this my character? Is this really what I want to be portrayed as myself, but also as someone who is representing the Lord? And I know it can be hard sometimes, and we all make mistakes. I definitely have had my moments where I slipped up, but also remembering when we do that, when we make mistakes, to maybe go back and take a step back, think about what we've just said, what we've just done. Maybe it's going back and apologizing to someone, but really being intentional with your words and thinking about what's happening in a situation where it's hard to be kind to someone.
Okay, next question. What can you do when you see others being unkind to someone?
Yeah. I think that looks different for everyone in their own personalities. An example I like to use when someone asks me this is on our school campus, the second year we did Let's Be Kind, it was actually, everyone was wearing their t-shirts that day. It wasn't the Let's Be Kind day, but it just so happened they were wearing their t-shirts. These 2 boys had got into a fist fight, and another kid had saw it and came running. He ran over and he put his hands between them and said, "That's not what we do here," because he knew that the culture on the campus was changing. He knew that what we do at Costa Mesa Middle School and High School is be kind to one another. And so, could you repeat the question?
So when you see other people being unkind, what do you do?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to understand what you can do in your best. And so for that kid, it was putting his hands between them and saying stop. For me, it would be going up to someone, confronting them with my words. For you, it could look different. And obviously it depends on the situation and how bad it is. You can go get help, you can talk to the person, you can do so many different things, but I think confronting that person with kindness, because I think it's easy to get so caught up in, okay, they're being unkind, so I might as well just be unkind to stop all of this, but kind of being unkind in that situation just makes things worse. And so kind of being the water to the flame is where I would say that's how you do it.
I like that, being the water to the flame. It sounds like what you're saying is somebody needs to step up to be courageous enough to not do what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Or to even put themselves in harm's way to stop people, or to take the hit from, or take the insult from somebody else, or just like step up, you know?
Yeah.
And that might even be that you, instead of insulting somebody, you show somebody, you say a kind word, something like that. So, do you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask Rebekah? Let's say this, because I know you're going to get questions after.
Yeah.
If we wanted to bring Let's Be Kind to our school, what would the next step be?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is www.letsbekind.org, or you can DM us on Instagram, which our Instagram is just Let's Be Kind Day, all lowercase. And we will email you, we'll work with you, figure out with your principals. Most likely you, like the person that contacts us, will be the person to be in touch with the school, and once you've talked to the school, we'll be kind of like your backup and provide you with all the things and help you. Our mission for Let's Be Kind is for the students to feel like it's their own thing, hence why we say student-led, because we found that if it's led by students, then that's where we get the most impact, because usually students don't listen to, their higher up. So that's kind of what it will look like, is you would talk to the principal, or we could talk to the principal if you really wanted us to, or the PTA or the ASB or whatever you guys have here, and go from there.
I have one last thing that I thought of while you were saying that. It sounds like it might even be we need bravery to even go to our school to say we need it. So if we want to do this, but we're afraid that we might be the person in charge, or we might have to speak in front of our school, or we might have to promote this thing, what would you say to encourage us? Is kindness that important?
Yeah, I definitely think that kindness is that important. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit, and it's one of the ways that we can show God's love to others. I think, I myself am an introvert. I have a hard time speaking in front of people. This is definitely something that I wouldn't have done a couple years ago. I've definitely had to work on my public speaking and, interacting with others that I don't know. But I think that if you truly feel like God is calling you to do something on your school campus, and I'm going to say this, it's kind of, the school is a mission field. When I came back, I had a hard time with the fact that I wasn't a missionary anymore. But with God giving me this, it kind of allowed me to be a missionary again, because there's so many broken hearts on our school campuses. There's so much going on in our school campuses that is outside of loving the Lord. And so if you feel like God is calling you to do something on your campus, I would definitely say that it's worth being uncomfortable. I mean, Christianity in general, when you are a Christian, there's times where you are put in uncomfortable situations. And so I'd say, yes, it's worth it. yes, it's hard. I've had moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Like, is this really something that I want to be doing? But I think all for showing God's love to others, it's worth it.
And as we show the love, we shine our light, other people will be encouraged too as well. So thank you so much, Rebekah. Are you guys inspired? We just give her a round of applause. Thank you. So